Everywhere burst few hours ago as Biafrans jubilate few hours ago, moment they never expected that Putin can finally get their petition on the release of Simon Ekpa. You know, the moment Simon Ekpa was arrested, a lot of Biafrans leaders, a lot of Biafran stakeholders, they be writing Putin based on the release of Simon Ekpa and all of that, and they never believed that it can be ever possible. But now Kasala burst few hours ago, Putin have finally reached out to Finland. Putin have finally burst Finland few hours ago. He said they must not try to trample and violate on the human right of Simon Ekpa. He said human right of Simon Ekpa must be respected, and he give them an ultimatum. You will hear everything yourself in this very video. Kasala boss few hours ago, Finland boy few hours ago. So I would like us to still connect to the end of this video. If you can share the video, just go to share it as you're watching. Share to the best social media platform. Let it go viral, and if you can share it, just like it as you're watching it. Like it, give it a thumb up. Tinubu government, they said they never expected that Putin can put himself in the line for the release of Simon Ekpa. You will see show for yourself. Just stay connected. I'm coming back again.
Welcome you back to Bu.Rse TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should believe you find for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now. It makes sense with LAJUPOG.
You blame me for interfering with your democracy, but I don't have to. You are doing it to yourselves. Polling stations are closing. You don't know who to trust. You are divided.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome you back to Bu.Rse TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, just endeavor to click the rest subscription button appearing on your video screen, and as you're clicking it, just click the notification bell icon alongside so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you to know. Now, Biafrans never expected what happened few hours ago. They never even expect that this can really happen, because on the case of Simon Ekpa, they just looking up to God alone, that God will surely allow Finland to actually release Simon Ekpa back to them, because it's normally known that Finland actually arrested Simon Ekpa few weeks ago, and that was before the convention that took place from December 2024 and all of that. The Finland convention took place, but Simon Ekpa was actually absent in cause of the convention due to the fact that Finland government actually arrested him. According to reports and according to the speculations that's coming from the Biafra people, they said it was Bianca Ojukwu that Tinubu appointed as the new minister in his cabinet that actually wrote a petition that made Finland to actually arrest Simon Ekpa. Now, Finland arrested Simon Ekpa and 4 other people, but few days ago, those 4 other people were released by Finland. But a lot of Biafrans are saying that the same way Finland actually released the 4 other people that was arrested alongside with Simon Ekpa and detained and all of that, they said the same way Finland released them, the same way Finland is going to release Simon Ekpa. Though Nigeria have been writing Finland for them to extradite Simon Ekpa, but Finland refused to extradite Simon Ekpa because they believe that they did not have an extradition treaty with Nigeria. But Kasala boss few years ago, nobody ever expected that Biafrans can be writing Putin, they can be writing Russia just for the release of Simon Ekpa. But Putin has finally pulled himself in the line that the human right of Simon Ekpa must not be trampled upon, that this man is only trying to cry for freedom for his people, that he did not commit any offense. You will hear it for yourself. You will hear Putin saying everything. You will hear show for yourself. Everywhere pause. Even Biafrans never expected it. No wonder they're trying to recruit some armies, some navies on Biafran nation and all of that. They have been trying to do that for quite some days now. Now, Putin has finally burst out. Putin has finally stormed Finland on the release of Simon Ekpa. I will play the full video in this very video. You will see everything the way it goes. So I would like guys to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share the video, just go to share it as you're watching it. Share it to the best social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like the video, like it, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. Let a lot of people get to know what is happening as far as Biafran agitation thing is concerned, because a lot of people are thinking that the moment Simon Ekpa have been arrested, every hope is lost for Biafra. You know, when they arrested KANU back in the days, some years ago, when KANU was arrested in Kenya and extradited back to Nigeria, a lot of people, including the Nigerian government, were actually thinking that all hope is lost for Biafra, that the Biafra agitation thing will stop. But the moment after KANU was arrested, Simon Ekpa sparked up from Finland and he even did worse than KANU himself. Now, Kasala boss, a lot of Biafrans are now putting their support for Simon Ekpa as he's agitating for the Biafra nation and all of that. Over 50 million Biafrans actually voted that Biafra should be liberated out of Nigeria and all of that. And I said that's not enough. They said Simon Ekpa himself was arrested, and the moment they arrested Simon Ekpa, a lot of media in Nigeria actually took the news. They said all hope have finally been lost for Biafra because they believe that Simon Ekpa is the stakeholder and is the key point of Biafra, and since he have been arrested, that all hope is lost for Biafra because Nigerian government have been doing everything possible to actually arrest Simon Ekpa right from time. They've wrote Finland in several occasions. In more than 3 years, they've been writing Finland that Finland should arrest Simon Ekpa, but Finland refused to arrest Simon Ekpa because this is Simon Ekpa in question. It's not an ordinary person in Finland. It's not an ordinary citizen in Finland. It's even a high-ranked politician as far as Finland is concerned. That's to tell you that it's a bona fide citizen of Finland, and Finland refused to arrest him because they believe that this man did not commit any offense based on the petition that Nigerian government have been writing, and different group in Nigeria have been writing the petition that he must be arrested and extradited. But Finland refused to arrest him. But the moment Tinubu dissolved his ministerial cabinet and newly appointed new cabinet in the likes of Bianca Ojukwu, a lot of people were thinking that Bianca will actually work on behalf of Biafra and all of that, just to smoothen the Biafran liberation and all. But Bianca Ojukwu, according to what Biafrans are saying, they said she was the one that actually orchestrated and wrote a new petition for Finland that Finland used to arrest Simon Ekpa, because Bianca Ojukwu is the former wife of Ojukwu, and Ojukwu was the one that liberated Biafra right from time. So Bianca know a lot about how Biafra actually evolved from, where it come from, and what has happened as far as Biafra agitation thing have been concerned right from time. So what is written in the petition that Bianca actually wrote to Finland is very, very strong, and as if that's not enough, it's not even up to 2 weeks that Tinubu appointed Bianca Ojukwu, Simon Ekpa was arrested. Now a lot of Biafrans were writing Putin, they're writing different big names, they're writing different big organizations that they should just come for the rescue of Simon Ekpa. But Kasala burst 2 years ago. Nobody ever even expected that Putin can put himself in the line on the release of Simon Ekpa. You will see for yourself. I will play you the full video before some of you come out to say that, oh, Laju have come up with his slides again and all of that. You will hear everything for yourself. So I would like us to stay connected to the end of this video. Just stay connected, don't rush me. Stay connected to the end of the video. You will hear what Putin said himself. He said the right of Simon Ekpa must not be trampled upon. The human right of Simon Ekpa must be respected. That this man have not committed any offense. You will see for yourself. So stay connected to the end of the video. If you can share it, just do it to share it. And if you can share it, just like the video, like it, give it a thumb up. Stay connected. I'm coming back again.
For many years, the pandemic has exacerbated the problems and imbalances that accumulated in the world earlier. We have every reason to believe that the tensions might aggravate even further, and such tendencies might emerge in almost every area. Naturally, there are no direct parallels in history, but some experts, however, and I do respect their opinion, they compare the current situation to the late 20s or early 30s of the last century. One may agree or disagree with such an opinion, yet one cannot but draw some parallel in terms of many aspects, the scale as well as the cross-cutting and systemic nature of challenges and potential threats. We see the crisis, we're witnessing the crisis of previous models and tools of economic development. Social stratification is increasing both globally and in individual countries. We mentioned this before, but today it causes a sharp polarization in public opinions. Populism, right and left-wing radicalism, and other extreme movements are on the rise. Domestic political processes, including in leading economies, are escalating and becoming more violent. All of this cannot but impact the nature of international relations, making them less stable and predictable. International institutions are weakening. Regional conflicts are multiplying. The global security system is degrading. And Klaus just mentioned my yesterday's phone talk with the US President, and we have agreed about the extending the START agreement. It's a correct step, but anyway, the contradictions are multiplying. And It is well known that in the 20th century, the failure and inability to essentially resolve such issues resulted in a catastrophic World War II. Of course, nowadays, such a heated conflict is not possible. I hope that it's not possible in principle, because it will mean the end of our civilization. But I would like to reiterate, however, that the situation might develop unpredictably and uncontrollably if we will sit on our hands doing nothing to avoid it. And there is a possibility that we may experience an actual collapse of global development that might result in a fight of all against all. The warring parties would attempt to tackle the escalated tensions by searching for internal and external enemies. The fight would mean the destruction of not only traditional values, and we cherish these values in Russia, such as family, but also fundamental freedoms, including the right of choice and privacy. I would like to know that social crisis and the crisis of values have already caused negative demographic consequences. As a result, the humankind risks losing the entire civilizations and cultures. Our common responsibility today is to avoid such a future that resembles a grim dystopia. We need to ensure development following a different path, one that is positive, balanced, and constructive. And in this regard, I would like to elaborate on the key challenges that, in my opinion, are facing the world community today. The first one of them is of the social and economic nature. Well, that's true. If we look at the statistics, despite the severe crises of 2008 and 2020, the past 40 years one can call extremely successful for the global economy. Starting from 1980, the global GDP at purchasing power parity in real terms per capita has doubled. And it's a positive sign. Globalization and domestic growth have resulted in a boost in developing countries. More than 1 billion people have been lifted out of poverty. For instance, if we take an income level of $5.5 per person per day at purchasing power parity, according to the World Bank, the number of people with lower income in China has reduced from 1.1 billion in 1990 to less than 300 million in recent years, and it's a success for China. In Russia, this number has decreased from almost 64 million people in 1999 to about 5 million people as of now. And we think that we are moving in the right direction. And it's the most important area. But the main question, the answer to which gives much insight into the current problems, is what was the nature of this global growth? Who benefited most from it? Undoubtedly, as I've already said, developing countries gain much benefit from it, using the growing demand for their traditional and even new products. But however, this embedding in the global economy resulted not only in new jobs and export earnings for them, but also in social costs, including significant income gap of the population. And what is the situation in the developed countries, whose level of average well-being is much higher? Paradoxically, the problems of stratification here in developed countries have proven to be even more profound. According to the World Bank estimates, while there were 3.6 million people living on less than $5.5 a day in the US in the year 2000, in 2016, this figure rose up to 5.6 million. During the same period, globalization resulted in a substantial increase in the profits of the large multinational companies, primarily American and European ones. as to the number, as to the people in European countries, developed European countries, the tendency is the same like in America. But again, who gets these revenues? Talking about companies, the answer is obvious: those who represent 1% of the population. And what has happened with the other people? For the last 30 years, the income of more than half of the citizens of a number of developed countries in real terms has not increased, while the cost of education and health services has tripled. Well, has increased and has tripled actually. That is, millions of people, even in rich countries, have ceased to see the prospect of increasing their income. At the same time, they face the problems of how to preserve their own health and that of their parents, how to provide quality education for their children. There is also a large proportion of people who, in fact, turn out to be non-demanded. Thus, according to the International Labour Organization estimates, in 2019, 21% of young people in the world, or 267 million, were neither studying nor working. And even among those who have work, and that's an interesting figure, even among those who work, 30% live on less than $3.2 a day at purchasing power parity. Such imbalances in global social and economic developments are the direct results of the targeted policy that has been conducted since the 80s of the last century, often blatantly and dogmatically based on the so-called Washington Consensus, with its unwritten rules that give priority to private debt-driven economic growth, with deregulation and low taxes on the rich and corporations. As I've already mentioned, the coronavirus pandemic has only exacerbated the problems. Last year, the decline in the global economy was the worst since the Second World War. Labor market losses by July were equivalent to almost 500 million jobs. Yes, half of them have been recovered by the end of the year, but still almost 250 million jobs lost is a very large and worrying figure. In the first 9 months of last year alone, global labor income losses totaled $3.5 trillion in the world. And this figure is still rising, which means social tensions are on the rise as well. At the same time, post-crisis recovery is not an easy task. If 20 or 30 years ago, the problem could have been resolved through stimulative macroeconomic policies, that's what we've done, and they're still doing it. So today, such mechanisms are no longer work, in fact. The resource is practically exhausted. And it's not just my evaluation. Thus, according to the IMF estimates, the level of aggregate public and private sector debt is close to 200% of global GDP. And in some economies, it has exceeded 300% of national GDP. At the same time, all developed countries now have zero interest rates, and the main developing countries historical minimum ones. All this leads to practical impossibility of stimulating the economy with traditional tools by increasing private credit. Quantitative easing, the so-called quantitative easing, which only inflates the financial asset bubble, leads to further stratification in the society and the increasing gap between real and virtual economy. And quite often representatives of real economy sector from many countries keep telling me this, and I think that business representative today will tell me the same. So And the increased gap between real and virtual economy, as I said, represents a real threat, and it is fraught with serious and unpredictable disturbances. Certain hopes for resetting the previous growth model are related to rapid technological development. Yes, the last 20 years have laid the foundation for what is known as the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is based on the widespread use of artificial intelligence, automated and robotic solutions. The coronavirus pandemic has greatly accelerated such developments and their implementation. However, this process is also bringing about new structural changes in the labor market. Therefore, without efficient efforts by states, many people are risking their jobs, and this often affects the so-called middle class, which constitutes the core of any modern society. And let me turn to the second fundamental challenge for the forthcoming decade. In other words, the social and political challenge. Increasing economic problems and inequality are splitting the society. They pave the way for social, racial, national intolerance, and this pressure shows too even in those countries which seem to possess well-established civic and democratic institutions that are designed to smooth over, mitigate such events and incidents.
All countries must respect equality of states and the right of people for self-determination. And they also mentioned the United Nations General Assembly resolutions, and this is clear that what they mean is the series of resolutions which they passed after the beginning of the special.
Yes, this time around is not about anybody saying anything negative. It's simply that, the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Bu.Rse, has finally opened up the portal. She has finally opened up the recruitment into the Biafra Armed Forces, the Biafra Navy, the Biafran Army, the Biafra Security Forces. She has gladly told every Biafran who is interested that the portal for recruitment, is on. There's ongoing recruitment into Biafra Security Forces. And she has encouraged everybody who is interested, anybody who is, well-meaning, has good intentions, and is ready to promote the security and welfare of Biafra land, United States of Biafra, to come forward, because this is a chance to offer your own services. She has equally, insisted, fully reiterated, that there will be good provision for them. Of course, there will be good motivation for anybody, any applicant who succeeds as a Biafran soldier, as a Biafran military, as one who, is ready, willing, to protect the United States of Biafra. She said, yes, since the redeclaration of the United States of Biafra, it has become important to revamp the security apparatus of the Biafra regional government in exile, vis-a-vis moving it down, to protect the life and properties of Biafrans in Nigeria. Before they move fully out of Nigeria. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a good one. I'm very much elated. I'm excited because we can see activities are ongoing. We can see that things are beginning to fall into places. We can see that things are beginning to move forward. Yeah, this is what we want. It's not the gangsterism. It's not, the sort of attack and continuous attack on, a lady who has made so much sacrifice, to come out, take all the risk, and, fully articulate, all the standards, all the ambitions, all the objectives of her ex-wife, leader, Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a good one. Dr. Bu.Rse has come out to say, look, If you want to join the Biafran military, if you're ready to join the Biafran security operatives, if you want to join the Biafran Navy, this is your chance. This is your chance to join the Biafran Armed Forces. This is your chance to contribute your quota, to the development of this, inaugural, this young United States of Biafra, sovereign United States of Biafra. So she's calling everyone, as she has said, this is the time to make, efforts to, standardize the Biafran military. Yes, it's about time, and we all appreciate this. So, ladies and gentlemen, freedom lovers, youth, strong at heart, people who feel you care, this is your chance to prove your mettle. Yes, we've all been clamoring for this freedom. We've all been clamoring for the success of the, declared United States of Biafra, sovereign United States of Biafra. We've all been clamoring for it, and this is the big chance that we have. This is the chance that we have. This is a very big opportunity, and so I want to encourage everyone to come on board. Don't listen to gossips. Don't listen to saboteurs, because some people have come out equally and they said, look, there's no recruitment. Don't listen to this lady. There's a force already. The Biafran forces are still there. The Biafran Navy is still there. We have enough people. Don't listen to her. Please, ladies and gentlemen, regard these people as saboteurs. Regard these people as people who don't mean well for the Biafra, United States of Biafra. All these people who come out try to counter what the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Abweze, is doing and continues to be doing to uplift, the welfare, the package, and the sovereignty of the United States of Biafra should be, totally ignored. I don't know why people will not face reality. Yes, I don't know why people, will not call a spade a spade. This is a woman who was fully documented, fully enlisted by our able Prime Minister, who unfortunately now, is out of, circulation. Of course, we all know he's undergoing trial at the hands of the Finnish, security forces. And of course, they have told us he's going to be in Kula for a while until, the full investigation commences. The full trial commences in May 2025. But of course, nature abhors vacuum. We cannot continue to wait till May 2025. We cannot continue to wait until our able, indefatigable Prime Minister comes out from, the security interrogations by the Finnish authorities. No. And so this lady has come up. She was first chief of staff, and now she's been fully promoted to the position of a deputy prime minister, so that she can hold brief, continue the struggle, continue all efforts at achieving, a sovereign United States of Biafra, continue efforts at propagating, continue efforts at making sure the dream continues until our able Prime Minister is done with his trial. And I think rather than eulogizing her, rather than commending her efforts, selfless efforts, rather than commend her sacrifices, it hurts me bitterly when I hear people from IPOB who call themselves IPOB political wing, when I hear people who say they're from Ohanese, when I hear people who say they're from one sort of Biafra group or the other, and they come out and say, we don't know who Dr. Ngozi Abweze is. We don't believe she's speaking for able Prime Minister. We don't believe she has the interest of Biafra at heart. We don't believe she's genuine. We think she's a subterfuge. We think there's something happening beyond the eyes. We see most of activities as the more you look, the less you see. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this is highly pitiable. This is pathetic. I mean, this is a Biafra Republic that was first declared, in 1967, following the horrendous activities, wicked, activities of the Nigerian government, especially from the northern region, after the failed coup the first failed coup in 1966, January 1966, where the Northerners, were appalled by the fact that most of the, victims of that coup were mostly Northerners, and they were very very saddened, very, astounded that no Southern politician was killed. Especially, they expected that NNAMDI Azikiwe should have been killed in the coup. They expected that Dr. Mike Opara should have been killed. They expected that, Mazi, the several people should have been killed, actually. And it shocked them when they discovered that the victims of that first, coup led by Major Kaduna Nzogo and Co were actually Northerners. So they were highly embittered, and they decided on their own to propagate, a complete delineation, complete deletion, complete and total killing of all Biafrans. All people they suspected were from the southeast. So because of the activities of 1966, 67, 68, 69, 70, our able general, Biafran warlord, late General Otumegwemeko Ojukwu, had no choice than to declare the Biafran Republic in 1967. Said Biafra was sovereign. Biafra would be on its own, since Biafra has not been received, has not been the peace, the security, the proper life, security of life and properties of the Biafrans cannot be guaranteed under the Nigerian government. And so our able general, who is the godfather of Biafra, Ojukwu, declared for the first time in 1967 the sovereign Republic of Biafra. And so it hurts me that come 2nd December 2024, when our able Prime Minister had, posted this date, sanctified this date, and fully announced this date as the official redeclaration of the United States of Biafra, 2nd December 2024. He declared it, and a few days to it, because, from the convention in Finland, where he superintends the Biafra regional government in exile, he was on the verge of declaring this United States redeclaration of the United States of Biafra, when unfortunately he was arrested by Finnish authorities. He was arrested, he and four of his, allies, and since then it became like Biafra was like a sheep without shepherd. But fortunately, from oversight, fortunately, from hindsight, fortunately, our able Prime Minister Simon Ekpa is not a man to be taken unawares. He had already inaugurated his able Chief of Staff, Dr. Ngozi Ahubeze, to deputize for him, to hold brief, to take up the gauntlet, yes, to redeclare. He had given her every power. He has given her all it takes to redeclare the United States of Biafra, and which she vigorously, which she fearlessly, which she very assiduously and vociferously redeclared on 2nd December 2024. So when you look at some of these things that have happened in the Biafra, United States of Biafra, you begin to wonder why people who come out from nowhere begin to talk like people who don't have a vision, begin to talk like people who have a negative mission. It's as if these people who have nothing to offer Biafra land are only interested in how to drag Biafra down. They want to drag us down. They want to drag the United States of Biafra down. They want to drag able leaders of Biafra down. They started started with Simon Ekpa Joku. They made all kinds of things about him. They said all kinds of things. So, accuse him of committing all sort of atrocities, even from Finland in Nigeria. There's nothing they have not said about him. They say he's a, duplicity. He's a man with duplicate, character. He could not be trusted. He has done that. He has done this. These are people for whom Simon Ekpa fought for. These are people for whom Simon Ekpa Joku made huge sacrifice of his life, of his job, of his career. And how to say thank you was to come out and begin to say, crucify him. Crucify him. The moment they heard the Finnish authorities had gotten him, had arrested him, they started shouting, crucify him, crucify him. This man is not our own. We don't know him. He does not belong to us. He claims to be under lieutenant for Mazen NNAMDI KANU, but we don't know him. We don't know him. His activities are suspect. He is a desperado. He is a con man. They started saying all sort of things. And of course, they aided and abetted by the Nigerian government. They started calling for the extradition of our able, indefatigable, cerebral, highly cerebral, hardworking Simon Ekpa Joku, the Prime Minister of Biafra regional government in exile. Of course, we are happy today. We're happy today that despite all their plans, despite all their negativity, despite all their money they wasted chasing this foreign trip and that foreign trip, despite hosting the Finnish foreign minister, here, believing that they could use money, they could bribe her, despite even our the Vice President Shettima going all the way, down to the 79th United Nations Assembly, leaving every other thing he ought to do there and going to talk, have a parley with the Finnish Prime Minister, the Finnish President, thinking that he would get the Finnish President to be on his side. He went there, left everything he ought to be talking about Nigeria, talking about developmental hopes for Nigeria, for aspirations. All he was talking about was Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa. Simon did this. Simon didn't do that. Simon said this. Simon didn't say that. All he was saying was Simon Ekpa. Get him for us. Arrest him for us. We have tried. What do you want? What do you want in return?
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. Since when they arrested Simon Ekpa, a lot of irregularities have been taking place as far as Biafran agitation thing is concerned and all of that. Even the Biafran agitation thing is no more even going smoothly again because a lot of issues are arising, matters are arising in different occasions. Ngozi Osayi have been pointed finger to that she has been extorting Biafran fund and all of that. This is not coming from me, this is coming from a lot of Biafran people that are actually fighting Ngozi Osayi, the COS, which is the chief of staff of Biafra. They said this woman is not giving a reasonable account of how they spending the Biafra fund and all of that, how they spending the money they actually raised for the Biafra liberation. They said this woman is not giving a reasonable account of it. So a lot of people are actually against her and all of that. Even Simon Ekpa, before Simon Ekpa was arrested, Simon Ekpa made Ngozi Osayi the deputy prime minister, and a lot of people actually kicked against it. They said this woman cannot be their deputy prime minister. But I mean that Ekpa wasn't arrested, Ekpa would have stopped all these insurgencies or irregularities or disunity that have been ongoing as far as the Biafran agitation thing is concerned, and the Biafran agitation thing might have been moving smoothly. But Ekpa was arrested and they actually restricted him. They did not allow him to use his phone, they did not allow him to use anything, and Finland actually placed his trial on May 2025. And I said that it's not enough. A lot of people were crying and they raised uproar that Simon Ekpa must be released, that this man is not guilty of any offenses and this man is not guilty of what Nigeria government actually wrote petition against him for and all of that, even to the extent that when Biafrans finished their convention in Finland in December, they stayed back to protest. They protested for the release of Simon Ekpa and 4 other people that were arrested and not side with him. But as the matter remains, they released the 4 other people that were arrested alongside with Simon Ekpa, but they refused to arrest Simon Ekpa because they believe he still have a lot of questions to answer based on the petition that was leveraged against him, because those petitions were very strong petitions with strong allegations, so they cannot release him. That's why Finland refused to release him till now, and they're giving him questions day in and day out. Now you can hear what Putin said in this very video that I just finished watching. You can hear everything he said. He said the human right must be respected, that the human right of every citizen of the country, the human right of Simon Ekpa must be respected, that nobody must trample on the human right of any citizen. So a lot of Biafrans are literally saying that Simon Ekpa is not guilty of any offenses, that he's just there agitating for his people, he's just there fighting for the human right of the people, he's just there fighting for the way his people will be relevant and be treated well as far as Nigeria is concerned, and all of that. That he's not inciting any violence according to the petition that was leveraged against him, because in the petition they said he's inciting violence in the eastern part of Nigeria and all of that. But Biafrans are saying he's not inciting any violence, whereas it's not even in Nigeria, but they said the directive that he's giving is actually causing violence to be ongoing and insecurity ongoing in the eastern part of Nigeria. That's what a lot of people are actually saying, and some Igbo people are actually happy that Simon Ekpa was even arrested, because the Biafran liberation have been divided. A lot of people are saying that they only know and identify Nnamdi Kanu, that they only love Nnamdi Kanu and respect him. Some are saying they don't want to have anything to do with Simon Ekpa. Even when they arrested Simon Ekpa, a lot of Biafrans were actually happy and they jubilating that the sit-at-home thing that is ongoing in the eastern part of Nigeria, that will eventually stop. But the sit-at-home did not stop. Nothing is stopping it at the moment. A lot of irregularity is still taking place in the eastern part of Nigeria, and I say that's not enough. Where Simon Ekpa actually stopped from, Ngozi Orabueze picked it from there, and it took the agitation to another level. Now it was few days ago that they brought out a form to recruit army and navy officer for the Biafran state and all of that. Those are what they're doing now. Now we did not even know the reason why they're recruiting army and they're recruiting navy for the state of Biafra. Now the question we asked recently is if they should recruit army and navy for the state of Biafra, who is going to be paying their salary? Where are Biafrans seeing money to pay the salary of these people? Those are the questions that a lot of people are asking now. So people actually commented at the comment section. They said Biafrans are not poor people, that they are rich people. Yes, even if Biafrans are rich people, nobody is saying that Biafrans are poor people. But even if we are saying that Biafrans are rich people, is it that they want to be using their own personal money to be funding public organizations or all of that? Since Biafran is not yet a country, how will Biafran run to be paying the salary of countless navy officers and countless army officers and all of that as their security operative and all? But you can see the way everything is going. A lot of people are even accusing some Biafran stakeholders that are working with Simon Ekpa closely. They said they even part of the people that actually work with Nigeria government so as to arrest Simon Ekpa in Finland. They said some Biafran stakeholders that are very close to Simon Ekpa, some of the cabinet of Simon Ekpa went to Finland even after Simon Ekpa denied the fact that he's the leader of Biafra, because when Finland asked him the question, are you the leader of Biafra group and all of that, because they've labeled Biafra as a terrorist group, Simon Ekpa said no, that is not the leader of Biafra. But some Biafra stakeholders that are working closely with him, they went to Finland. According to what Biafrans are saying, they said they went to Finland to tell Finland authority that Simon Ekpa is their leader, that they must not release him, that he is the one constituting and terrorizing Nigeria in the eastern part of Nigeria and all of that. That was what Biafrans said. I played you the video in this very platform yesterday. You hear everything yourself. The same way they pointing some accusation finger on Ngozi Orabueze, the COS of Biafra. The same way they pointing some accusation finger on some other people now. So a lot of Biafrans are just not uniting at the moment after Simon Ekpa have been arrested. But you can hear everything for yourself in this very video. You can hear what Putin said himself in this very video. Now I would like us to drop a opinion in the comment section of this video. Feel free. See your mind regarding everything that is happening as far as Biafran liberation thing is concerned. Feel free. Just drop your opinion, as I'm gonna there to get that for you, and share. Follow me on my social media handles on Facebook at LAJUPOG Watch TV, at LAJUPOG Entertainment, and on Instagram at LAJUPOG. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye for now.
I see the hot for my body, I say make I yarn you. Religious gossip plenty day for body. Pastor where the line on top, be pastor. For LAJUPOG Watch TV. Pastor where the bar, where politician where they do pass himself. What leader? All the while you waiting for church. All as LAJUPOG Watch TV.